Today's video, basically, in a previous video you would have seen last week, basically we did some waste yarn, we checked different types of tension and so forth. We learned how to change over a yarn. Today what I want to show you is something called a hung hem, okay? And so we're going to take a different color of yarn, okay? Now generally what I do when I'm learning is that every time I'm doing a different part, I'm going to use a different color just as contrast, just so I can see the difference of things, but obviously in a sock you may not want to do that. That's up to you, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little hook, okay? I'm going to put it through my yarn carrier. I'm going to hook the little thread, pull it through so that I don't have to fight with it, okay? I'm going to attach it, so just like in the previous video, okay? I cut off the blue yarn, and basically the latch is actually closed, okay? So that's the last stitch of blue. What I want to do is I'm going to take this new yarn, which happens to be a different color, but doesn't have to. I could have used the same color if I wanted to, for, you know, maybe I ran out of yarn on a spool or something. I'm going to put it in the same spot, in the same area between two needles. So the one that's closed and the one that is going to be the next one to actually attach. Okay? I'm going to put both of these in a chip clip just to give a little bit of extra weight when it gets started. Okay? And again, once you've done the first row, you can take off the chip clip, right? It's not like it's not gonna undo. It's just for the beginning. You could hold it. I've tried holding it. It's unwieldy. It irritates me. Okay. So basically, I'm gonna go around the first row. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go slow as always on the first row, just to make very sure that everything's catching. Okay. Before I speed up. All right. And I guess I would imagine that as you get more confident with your machine, maybe you speed up and, you know, go faster. I don't know. Haste makes waste, and I have learned through weaving that I like to make haste, and I make a lot of waste as a result. So I just learn, try and be patient. That must be, I'm sure that's one of the lessons I'm trying to learn in life, and, you know, I'm not sure how successful I have been over time, okay? So this is one. So what you want to do for a hung hem, okay, is that you want to basically have whatever the thickness is in terms of the amount of rows, you're going to be folding it over onto itself, okay? So if you saw my Luma hat video with the, you know, the manual circular loom, you'll have seen us, that we did that when we did the brim, okay? And so basically there's a very similar technique right here. So let's say, for example, if I have 20 rows of stitches, when I fold it over to make the brim will be 10 stitches long on both sides, right? Because it's folded over. Okay. So let's do 20 rows. Okay. And then we're going to go back and we're going to actually hang the hem. And the reason you want to do a contrasting color is to make it a lot easier to find out, because if they're the same color, this row here basically is what you're looking for. Okay. Well, in a second you'll see, but if they're the same color, you're going to have a really hard time maybe staying on that row, and your hung hem might be kind of wonky, okay? So let's do 20 here. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay? And again, I always start and stop at 3 o'clock. That tends to be my my preferred area. Okay? So I don't need this chip clip anymore, so I'm going to try and take that off. I should have taken it off beforehand, but again, that's me. Okay, there we go. So what I want is that I'm going to take some of the weight off. I'm going to keep some of the weight on. You can take all the weight off if you wanted to. I'm going to put the weight back on when I continue it. It's just that it's pulling down quite heavily, and I do need to be able to lift it up to show you what I need here. So let me take off one of the weights. There we go. Because I had I had the main stem weight, and then I had this additional weight. So I'm just taking it off temporarily. I hope to God I remember to put it back on, because otherwise things will change. Okay? So when you have a hung hem, what you're going to do basically, okay, is that you want to be able to pull it up, but you want to be really, really careful when you pull it up, because if you start to pull things up too high, and you're not paying attention to it, you can end up like lifting some of these off the needle, and then you've got drop stitches without you realizing it. Okay, so we're going to do this really carefully. Okay, and so I want to take a look. Okay, all right. No, I think, you know what, I think I might have to take off both. Let's take off. I think it's a little bit on the heavy side for me. Okay, and again, there could be potentially issues with, you know what, I wonder, because you can actually raise needles so that they will, you know what, maybe I'll try raising the needle. Raising the needles, I wonder if that would work. So I bought one of these crescent things, okay? I don't know what you call them, but a crescent thing. And so basically what you can do is you can actually raise all these needles. So I'm going to raise some of these needles. When you raise, no, maybe not. There we go. Okay, when you raise these needles, okay, all right, you put them out of work. So basically if you were to go around, it's not going to actually stitch on this side. And you do use this ability when you're actually doing the heel. Now, I haven't tried this. I should have probably tried this before actually videotaping this. I could be, you know, not happy with what I do afterwards. Yeah, this side is not open. It is not going. So I think it's still too close. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up this area here. Okay, all right. So I'm going to be very careful, again, not to lift it over these areas here. But I want to find, okay, and there we go. All right, so I need to find, all right, the first thread. Okay, so the first thread with that first stitch is the stitch that I started off with, basically, at the 3 o'clock mark. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, hold on a sec here. All right. Okay, so, all right, starting with the beige, all right, and that's the nice thing about that is that because it's such a contrast with the actual blue, okay, that, let's see here, this helps a little bit more, we'll see there, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, all right, the first stitch, oops, of course, why on earth. All right, let's hope this works. All right, I'm going to take the first stitch on here. Let's see here. So one thing I hate about hooks is that I manage to hook every yarn. All right. So I'm going to take this one here. All right. And I'm going to put it, there we go. I'm going to put it on the 3 o'clock needle, okay, so because that was my first one, all right, there we go, and I'm going to keep putting them on, all right. Once you've done the first few, it becomes fairly easy because you're just following, all right. And make sure again you're only taking, right, you're not taking the waist yarn, you're only taking the brown, okay. Oh, in my case the brown, okay, so there we go, okay, all right, so I'm going to put a few down here, these ones here. Okay, and then I'm just going to keep going around. Hold on. All right, because I don't want to be grabbing the blue. All right, there we go. And then, there we go. All right. I'm going to put down the next few. All right. Okay. Now, I used variegated colored thread. Maybe use like, you know, a single color. I'm sure that will make life a lot easier. Okay. So, again, going to go under, separate from the blue, and then pull over, okay? And then separate and pull over. I'm going to continue doing this until I've got pretty much gone a certain amount here, okay? About 3/4 of the way around, and I'll come back and show you what to do from there. Okay, so I am back. So the variegated thread, as you can see, started off beige, which was nicely contrasted. Then I got into a dark blue, with, of course, because that would be my kind of luck. Okay. So as I said, when you're practicing, I would do like 2 very distinct colors, you know, red and orange or red and yellow, whatever works for you, so that you can see the difference at the beginning until you understand what it is you're doing. This here is the original tail I had. Okay. You can leave it out and sew it in later on. Basically, I just like to tuck it in, because I did this when I would do my looming hats. Okay, I tuck it in, and so that as I'm going through, it's going to just kind of go inside the actual brim. Okay, the reason we do a hung hem basically is that these stitches here on the blue, okay, will be basically live stitches. All right, so when I separate and I take off the waste yarn, this blue will actually unravel. However, because I've got the hung hem, if you actually look at the bottom, let's see here. All right, so the hem basically, if it's upwards like this, okay, it's folded this way. So this part is not going to undo, okay? And because I'm going to be going around, I'm going to be obviously fastening it, so it's gonna stay in place. So whenever you want to have kind of an edge that, assuming you want a hem, that's the way to finish it so it does not unravel. Okay, so let me finish off. I managed to get my crochet hook. The other one was a little bit too much of a hook. It was this yarn obviously is plied. It's got many strands in it, and that hook was so sharp it was getting into the strands and was causing me irritation. So what I'm going to do is that I need these to actually go upwards, okay? And I'm not sure what happened here. Hold on. What happened here? Huh. I am not. Let's see here. Did something drop? Okay, it is possible something dropped here because this is loose. This should not be loose, right? They should all be. So it's quite possible that something came off. All right, so hold on a sec here. Let's see here. Hate hooks. All right, so let's see here. Okay. So I'm gonna take a stitch from here. Okay, and I'm going to put it over this guy here. All right, and I'm hoping, I'm not sure. Actually, you know what, I wonder, no, you know what, I'm going to try, and I'm going to try and repair a stitch. Ha 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 ha. That's going to be a laughable thing, but okay, hold on a sec here. So, I have a hard time remembering whenever I do this, okay? So what I'm going to do, basically, is when you have, okay, a drop stitch, and are we able to see it? Let me reconfigure this. Okay, so I've reconfigured the camera here. This is a stitch right here that has been dropped, okay? So I want to be able to kind of hook it back on to the little white one that's below it, okay? So what I'm going to do... All right, so if you recall, what I did is I lifted this guy up to put it on top, and I could have continued on, okay, but being a perfectionist, that's going to irritate me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that there, okay? Now bear with me because I always forget how to do this. I have to write down the steps at some point. So what you... Okay, so let's try this, because again, the problem is it's easier to get into a method because when you actually drop a stitch, it's this middle one that you're picking up, okay? These middle ones here that you're picking up, okay? And I don't have that. That's not actually dropped anywhere, okay? So, I guess I suppose I could pick it up actually because it is actually on here. Do I dare? Okay, so I'm going to try that. And I hope to God I don't regret this decision here. Okay, so let me try that. I'm going to hook this one here because that's the actual little hole. All right, the little that you want. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to take this off. Okay, I'm going to, where's my little latch hook here? Okay, so you know what I'm going to do, because I know myself well enough that I am going to screw up. So I'm going to, there we go, I am going to get a stitch marker, because what happens is that if I lose that little hole, it's going to undo all the way down, and it's going to be a great learning experience for you. It'll be a very painful experience for me. Okay, so I'm going to just try this and see if that will, at the very least, not cause me issues. Okay, so I put a stitch marker in there. So I'm going to change it over for this latch hook. Okay, hold on. What did I do to myself here? There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So I've got this. I am now. Okay. So I think I got it. Okay. So the first loop that you're putting through, you want to make sure, okay, it's beyond, it's between the latch and this, okay? But as you pull it further back, okay, you want to be able to get that latch under the actual loop that you want to use here. So let's do this. So I'm going to get that latch under this pink yarn here that was loose, okay? And now I'm going to, okay, so I am going to, oh, I don't know if I want to do this here. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pull it through without having to undo the, no, that's not going to work. I'm going to take the stitch marker off here. All right. And hope to God it does not. Let's see if I put it on the one below. Will it? I can't see what I'm doing, of course. No, okay. Oh, let's cross my fingers here. Okay, so what I want to do basically is I want to, I'm going to read my instructions as I go along here because I'm having a hard time with this. Okay, as visual as I am. So I'm going to put it through the loop that I've got. Okay? And then basically I've got it, so this loop needs to go behind the latch. All right. Okay? So I'm going to put this original loop behind the latch. All right. Now I'm going to try and go underneath. Ooh, and lift this under here like that. Okay? So this is under the latch, this is over the latch, okay? And it should pull it right through. Yay! Ha-ha! Ooh, don't you dare, don't you dare. Okay, ooh. And I should be able, theoretically, there we go. There we go, woohoo! All right, and I hope to God that got caught on video. Okay. Okay, after that excessively stressful experience of picking up that drop stitch, basically I'm going to advance the yarn carrier here a few stitches so that I can actually end up putting the hooks on the remaining ones. Okay, so let me advance. I'm going to, I put my hooks, I put my weights back on. Okay, and so I want to make sure, I'm not sure if you're able to see it. Let's see if I can back up the camera a bit. Okay, so let's advance it, and we're going to make sure that this pink yarn is being picked up by some of them as we go along. We want to make sure that all the needles are down, okay, because if they're up, it will not catch, and we'll have another drop stitch. Drop stitches are, if you hear other people tell it, it's not a big deal. But clearly for me, it's a big deal. So I don't want to go through that experience if I don't have to. Okay, so I'm going to go through slowly. All right, they're catching. Okay, all right. All right, so I'm going to push these down. Okay, let's kind of do a little bit more. All right. Okay, I think that's the last one I need because the other ones were actually caught. So now I'm going to go back. I'm going to continue hanging my hem, okay, on here. Wish me luck. Nothing else on, oh shoot, I've got to take off my weights again because it's pulling down too much. Give me a sec here. All right, fingers crossed. Okay, all right, let's try. So I need, there we go. Ooh, there we go. So here, gonna bring that one over. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. Now there's no point in burying the tail of the waist yarn because of course at the end, the waist yarn will be removed. Okay, and I can tell from my angle that it's a little bit of a darker blue. I don't know if it comes out on the video or not. Okay. All right. So let's see here. There we go. Where's the first hooked yarn? So that means, where's this first hooked yarn? So the first hooked yarn was here. No, that's not a hooked yarn. No, that's my tail that I just ended up pulling out, which I didn't want to do. Okay, let's see if I can pull it in somehow. Is there a way I can grab the tail and yank it in? Of course not. Please. So there's a blue one here. Okay, give me a sec here. I'm not happy with my tail. I didn't want to pull it in. Let's see here. Well, okay, it's not going to be a perfect hem. Okay. All right. So there is the last stitch here, which is the dark blue. Had I been intelligent enough to see it? Okay. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to continue going all the way around. All right. And unfortunately, as I said, I don't see the tail. It was a very short tail to begin with. Oh well, it's gonna have to stick out. Can't do much about it. Okay, so I'm gonna go slowly around. All right, make sure that they all catch. Oh, shoot. Put your weights back on. Otherwise you're gonna end up dropping stitches. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, let's take a look. Make sure everything is catching. Please catch. Please. Now, if your yarn carrier is too high or too low, it's going to miss that, the latch there. So you do want to make sure that it's at kind of like in that sweet spot where it will actually be just under the latch. So when the latch comes up, it's going to, clip in. So there we go. So everything hooked on. Everything looks like it's hooked. Nothing looks dropped. And I am happy. Okay, cool. So we've done one row there, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do maybe like 5 rows, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to like bind off with a latch hook bind off.